Good afternoon. We'll go ahead and get started if everybody's ready here. Welcome to the April 22nd, 2021 Board Code Enforcement Board meeting in Seminole County. It's our regular meeting, first one we've had in a while. Thank you all for being here and being present. It's been about a year since we met, so good to see everybody here. Hope everybody's been doing well and your family's been doing well. We're going to go ahead and start first by having the clerk do roll call. Madam Clerk.
Bob Wolfring.
Here.
Mike Bass.
Here.
Dudley Bates.
Here.
Ellen Patton.
Here.
Don Peterson. Dennis Warren.
Here.
Jane Haynes. Here. And Yvette Brown.
Here.
Thank you. Next, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and it'll be followed by the swearing in of the witnesses. So after the pledge is done, if you are going to be testifying in any form today, just remain standing. But for now, if you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can raise your right hands.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
I do.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a seat, please. Next, I'm going to propose that we revise the agenda to take care of the people that are here presently, and then we'll hopefully go in order following that. The cases for the people that are here presently, and if you don't hear your case number, please see the clerk. Case number 21-02 CEB. It'll be followed by 21-10 CEB, followed by 20-32 CEB, and then we will go through the rest of the agenda. Do I have a motion to revise the agenda in that fashion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by Ms. Haynes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's what we'll do. And we'll go ahead and get started. And for anyone who's here to testify when I call your case up, if you could step up to the podium on the other side of the code enforcement officers here. And what we'll do is they are going to present their case first, and then you'll be given the opportunity to speak after they present their case. And then there may be some questions by the board and follow-up discussion. That being said, we will start with case number 21-02, to be found on page 3 of the agenda. Peter S. and LaShonda Adudu. Address is 4621 Du Bois Street, Sanford, Florida, 32771. If you are here for that case, if you could, yes, sir, if you step up right here in between that glass panel, there's a microphone right in front of that screen. And again, the code enforcement officer will present the case. This case is Officer Bavaro. Is he here today?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you. Officer Varro, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, Sanford, case 2102 CEB, Peter and LaShonda Odudu. Property is located at 4621 Du Bois Street. A violation charges remains in rubble of the structure. The initial inspection was on 7/17/2019, and notice was issued on 10/9/2019 with a compliance date of 11/9/2019. Several re-inspections followed that, the last one being on 4/1/2021, showed that the violation remained. On 11/19/2019, we did send an application over to the owners for CDBG, which is a block grant fund offered by the county for structures similar to this. The images you're about to see accurately depict the violations on the dates in which they were taken, this one being on 7/17/2019, showing the remains of rubble of structure. Another one on 10/30/2019, showing no change. Additional closer pictures on 12/31/2019, showing the roof damage. Another picture on 2/11/2020. Another one on 4/21/2020. And then on 2/10/2021, showing the roof damage remains the same. And then most recently on 4, I believe this is 4/1/2021, I believe this was when it was posted. As you can see there on the bottom left, the notice of posting for this hearing today. And then the last image on 4/20/21, showing no change to the roof as well. So based on the testimony and evidence presented in this case, 2102 CEB has determined that the respondent is the owner of record on the property located at 4621 Du Bois Street, in possession and control of the property, and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3C. We're requesting the board make an order for compliance on May 6, 2021. In order to gain compliance, they must repair the structure or remove the structure. If they fail to do so, a fine of $100 a day be imposed. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Officer Bavaro from the board members? Seeing none, I have one. The grant, you said you applied for a grant for this situation. What, is that for repair, for demo? What does that grant involve? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, there's several options that come into play with that grant, depending on if there's funding or not. We just send the application over. It's the owner's responsibility to fill it out, submit the application. If there's funding available, then they'll go over what exactly they can do to help. But in several cases, we submitted these applications to owners. They go apply, get approved, and sometimes they demolish a whole structure, and the Habitat for Humanity, for example, will come in and rebuild the new house.
So you submit it and you're out from that point, and it's on the property
It's
owner.
their responsibility, and we do check with the county to make sure that if they have received the application. If they have not received an application from the owner, then we move forward with our case.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sir, could you state your name and confirm that you've been, in your relationship to this case, and confirm you've been sworn in? If we could get your name, sir.
Odudu, Peter.
Okay, so you're one of the property owners? Thank
Yeah,
you.
me and my wife.
Okay, and you were just sworn in? Did you raise your hand? Were you sworn in? I didn't know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. This is your opportunity to speak. You heard what Officer Bavaro said. Anything you'd like to share to the board members here? They're here to decide this case.
And yeah, we'll be trying to fix the roof and everything, but money-wise, and then my wife is sick. They just amputated her leg about 3 days, a week ago now. My wife didn't have only one leg now. Excuse me, sir, I only saw this, all what he said about complaining to me and everything. None of that. I just only received this book in front of my house. I was winning.
Yes, sir, that's just a notice letting you know that this hearing's taking place.
Yes, sir.
But this is your opportunity to share. I don't know if you heard Officer Bavaro, there's a recommendation by the county that this problem needs to be fixed by May 6, which is not too far from now, or there will be fines at $100 a day. It's your opportunity to speak on behalf of that. Normally, you would share if you can do it, if you have any requests, anything you want to share before the board makes a decision on that.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that right now, we don't have no fund to fix the roof right away. And my wife she's not in good condition right now. And if we give us some time,
Board members, any questions for Mr. Adudu? Mr. Bates?
Mr. Adudu, this has been going on now for over a year. You say you don't have the funds to make the necessary repairs or to take care of this right now. Can you give us any idea when you might have something, or is...
my daughters and my son, they trying to gather some money together and help out to fix the roof.
So is your plan to repair the facility as opposed to taking it down? Sir?
Pardon me?
I said, do you plan to, are you talking about getting money together to repair the facility in some amount of time as opposed to taking it down and doing away with it?
Yeah, I will do it.
Mr. Bates, if I may say, the property is occupied. They are currently living in it.
Pardon?
The property is still occupied, so they are living in the structure as of now, if that helps any.
Ms. Ames?
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I apologize. I just had cataract surgery.
Sure.
I cannot take these slides, sorry. I was just wondering how the process is for the grant, and would the daughter and son be able to fill out the paperwork or do whatever's necessary to apply for that grant as the next step?
Mr. Bavaro, do you know anything?
I imagine if they're applying in the interests of the property owner, there would be no issue with that. Like I said, we did submit it in November of 2019. We checked back with the county on December 30th, 2019, and they had not received an application. We've had no contact from the owner until today, and we've been out there several times. It is posted no trespassing, so we can't go onto the property. So.
Let me ask this, because I have a feeling that there's probably some difficulty in communications with him taking this thing and moving with it. You all used to have a section for the elderly, and it would go out in certain situations that maybe aren't criminal but help. And I know you only get so involved, but is there any resource that you know, if not there, somewhere else that might be able to assist them with applying for that grant?
We can reach out to the county and see if they have somebody that would able to walk them through the process.
Mr. Adudu, do you understand that there's a possible avenue for you to get money? I don't know, but you have to apply for it. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Have you applied for that?
Yeah, my wife, we're trying to put in an application. They said there ain't no fund yet. We went to the board of the committee there. They said that there ain't no fund yet.
There's no funds?
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
And when was that? I guess you got this in 2019. When did you do that?
A month ago.
Months ago, yeah. Okay, well, again, we're here to make a decision. You say your son and daughter might help you. How much time would you need? We have to figure out, what date to put on this. Do you think your son and daughter will be able to manage to take care of this by a certain date, or whoever? Right now, we're looking at May 1st. Yes, Ms. Patton?
Sir, have you gone and talked to anybody at Legal Aid about this?
No.
That might be a recommendation that I say, is that maybe we give him 30 or 60 days to go see if Legal Aid can help him. This feels like a Legal Aid issue that they could help with.
Sounds like a good idea. Mr. Patton, do you understand what she's requesting or suggesting?
Yeah, I have suggestion.
Are you familiar with legal aid?
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is because of the condition I am right now, because of my wife that have 4 kids for me, they cut off her leg. And she's supposed to have been with me here. They're trying to take her to the tomb.
Is this something that might interest you in trying to go to legal aid and see if they have something they can offer, help you in this?
My honor, what I would, please help me. Give me some time. The time I'm asking for is like he's saying, as from so time to be paying $100. I can't afford that.
This board's very generous as far as giving time, but they need to know what you're going to do in that time when we come back and how much time you need. So that's what they're trying to figure out right now.
Chair?
Yeah, Ms. Patton?
Sir, do you understand that if this doesn't get addressed, they're going to end up condemning your home because a home has to have a good roof or a family can't live there? Do you understand that part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my suggestion was that you take the next month or 2, but not wait the whole time, like go very soon and talk to somebody at Legal Aid who can help you explore your options and help you apply for funding or anything else. So you don't have to do it all alone, but you have to go ask for help.
Yes.
And my impression is that this board is offering you the time to go do that if you tell us you will go ask them for help.
Yeah.
Can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
go ask for help from Legal Aid?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll just give Mr. Adudu the phone number for legal aid. I think this-
Appreciate it.
Yes, for Seminole County Legal Aid. That
Thank
phone
you.
number, legal aid, it's, call them, they're lawyers that work for free for people like you that have needs like this, okay? I think that's a good suggestion. And Ms. Patton, do you have any thoughts as far as,
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I was just in a trial this morning, so I'm in Your Honor mode. My motion is to pass it for 2 meetings, 60 days or so, and give him the opportunity to go see Legal Aid, and that would give time for something meaningful to start. And then when we come back, if nothing meaningful has started, then we will have tried.
I will second that if we clarify that it's June 21st, which is 60 days.
Sure.
And we accept staff's recommendation with that adjustment. Pat?
We don't have a meeting in June.
I know we don't.
Okay.
That's not the point.
you said June 21st?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, you're good with that date, Ms. Patton, since you're making
Yes,
the
sir.
motion?
That's my motion.
Okay.
I got to clarify
Mr.
something.
Wolfram, yes, sir.
At the end of the 60 days that we're giving him for the time to correct a problem, at that particular point, if nothing's been done,
$100 a day, it's right up there.
then it actively goes into the $100 per day. Is that my understanding?
My
We're
my
accepting.
suggestion and motion was to see what has been done, what kind of progress he's made in the 60 days.
I
'Cause
withdraw my second then.
The Legal Aid,
So we may want to reword it, as our clerk said, we don't have a meeting in June. That falls in June. We have a meeting in May, then we have one July 22nd. Do you want to put that date on it?
I don't think it's realistic to expect a brand-new roof on that building in 60 days.
But I think it would be realistic to expect him to have gone to legal aid and started some kind of meaningful process by then. And if he has, then we give him a chance, and if not, then not. That's my motion.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
Second motion by Ms. Patton, second by Mr. Bates.
I do not understand the motion.
It's basically a continuance, right? That's what I'm hearing, is you're continuing the case until the July meeting to see what progress he's made to try to understand and make some steps towards fixing the problem. And then if he hasn't, I guess you'd have a hearing, or you would impose.
We're going to reconsider, I guess,
Reconsider the case.
same case
Yeah.
on that date. We're just extending this.
Just continuing it.
Is that what the maker of the motion wants?
Yes, sir.
Is that the seconder?
We have a second, we have a first, second. Any other discussion? The motion being to table this case until July 22nd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Mr. Adudu, what we've done is we've scheduled this to hear this again on July 22nd. The expectation is that you'll make some progress, at least reach out, talk to them, hopefully make progress with legal services. You have their number,
Thank you, sir.
okay? Now, when you come back, there's going to be a decision made, so do what you
Thanks.
can do and come back to report to us, okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can you ask the county to reissue him the applications to Camden and Nether?
Yeah, Mr. Bavara, can you reissue an application for him? Maybe he can reinvestigate that again at some point. You don't have to do it right now.
We'd be happy to mail him another one, yes.
Thank you so much. Brings us to case number 21-10 CEB, Ansar Ahmed, trustee, 1152 West Lakeview Circle, Altamont Springs, 32714. On page 6 of the agenda. And this case belongs to Officer Hill. Whenever you're ready, Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I submitted a copy of this PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2110 CEB. The respondent is Ansar Ahmed, located at 1152 West Lakeview Circle in Seminole County. Violations charged is Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 12, Section 30.202, use is permitted. A multifamily dwelling is not a permitted use in an R1AA zoning district. My initial inspection was on April 1st, 2019, with notices to the respondent on April 29th and June 5th, 2019, and the last letter was sent to the property owner on November 16th, 2020. Compliance dates were May 29th and July 5th, 2019, with multiple follow-up inspections. The results of my inspections, the violation of an unpermitted use of a multifamily dwelling remains on the subject property. So I was initially notified about this property from Ashley Dobbins, who works with the county. They were alerted because the property owner is trying to pull, I believe it was a 4th meter for this property. So she sent me a few emails with some images. This one was sent, this is an old plot showing that there's 3 numericals for this property, 1148, 1152, and 1156. Duke Energy also has these numericals for their meters as well. Ashley also sent me this image on March 22nd, 2019, and there's going to be multiple ones sent on the same day. This one was taken from Zillow, showing the advertisement for 1148 West Lakeview Circle. And at the bottom of that description, it's kind of hard to read. It says the property could be used for dual purposes, live on the first floor and rent 2 units below, or as a total investment property. All 3 units rented brings in a total of $2,500 per month. This image was also sent to me, she found on Zillow, showing the 2 arrows pointing to the 2 units below in the back. The following photos are going to be 3 separate kitchens taken from 3 separate apartments. This image is from property appraiser showing that the zoning district is R1AA for single-family dwelling. This photo is taken by myself on my initial inspection. This is the front of the house where the numerical is 1148 West Lakeview Circle. This inspection was done on June 6, 2019. 1148 was currently unoccupied at that time. This photo is taken, this is 1148, still unoccupied, but there is a vehicle parked in the back. These images were taken on July 8, 2019, on the left showing that 1148 is still unoccupied with the lockbox, but there is trash at the curb. These images were taken on, well, this image was taken on March 4th, 2021, with vehicles parked in the back. In March, I also talked, 1148 is currently occupied now. I did talk with the tenant. She said there were tenants behind her and below, but she didn't know them. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2110 CEB, and it's determined that the respondent, Ansar Ahmed, is the owner of record located at 1152 West Lakeview Circle, in possession or control of the property and in violation of Seminole County Land Development Code, Chapter 30, Part 12, Section 30.202, uses unpermitted. It is further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of June 20th, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must convert the residence back to a single-family dwelling. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. Now, Mary Robinson is here with the county. They did apply for, is it a variance? Or rezoning, and they never followed through with it. And Mary can speak on behalf of the county.
Good afternoon, Mary Robinson with Development Services, Planning and Development Division. Is this on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
What they applied for is what's called a pre-application. The pre-application is just a preliminary review of what they want to request. And they were requesting the possibility of rezoning the property from R1AA to R3A, and a future land use change from low-density residential to medium-density residential. They received the comments back. They were generally that it would not be a good possibility for them to rezone. The whole surrounding area is a land use of low-density residential and zoned R1AA, so placing a single lot of multifamily would not be considered consistent with the area development pattern. But they never submitted the application. They just did this pre-application and got the staff comments returned.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Robinson? When, Ms. Patton?
We're probably about to ask the same question. When was that application and response issued?
It was filed on July 8th of 19. That was the date that the application was received, the pre-application.
Any other questions for Ms. Robinson?
I'm just curious here. So 3 people were allowed to live there for a long time, and then when you pulled the 4th permit, that's when the flag was raised?
That's correct. Yes.
So how long have the 3 people been there?
Well,
Sir, not yet. This is for the officer.
Oh, I apologize. I can't tell who you're looking at. So last month, there's been now a tenant at the 1148, which is the main part of the house. Below, I can't walk back there without anybody's permission. But I would see trash and not what out by the curb. So that tells me that there are people living behind there. I know the property owner bought the property as is and was not aware of that there were no permits pulled and that type of thing. He bought it just like it is.
But since the case has been open since 2019, there has been notices, and a last letter that I sent last November informing him there's still violations. I am filing it for a hearing. Please continue to work towards compliance. I haven't heard from anybody in over a year until this morning when I heard from his real estate agent, Mark.
Do you know what the property appraiser shows as how many bedrooms and baths? Not that it's maybe relevant, then I'm just curious. If you don't have it, that's fine.
Property appraiser shows it as a multifamily 2-unit.
Any other questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, sir, can I get your name, relationship to the case, and confirm you've been sworn in?
Yes, my name is Mark Raponi. I'm the property manager for the owner, who is here with me as well, Ansar Ahmed. And yes, we were both sworn in.
Okay, and his name?
Ansar Ahmed.
Okay. This is your opportunity to present whatever you'd like to present to the board.
Absolutely. So he acquired this property in 2017, so he hasn't owned it very long. The property was as it is. There were 3 tenants occupying the property. The images she was showing you up there of the ad and the inside of the apartments, those were images that were provided to us when he purchased it in 2017 as part of their MLS listing. So the previous owner was marketing it and selling it to him as a 3-unit property, which, even the property appraiser showed, multifamily, even though it's R1AA zoning. This property was built in 1959, and at no time is there any evidence that this property was a single-family residence converted to a multifamily dwelling. Now, the only possibility is Officer Hill had mentioned that the main house up front, and then, it goes around down in the back. There are currently 2 apartments down below, that it's possible that it was a 2-unit dwelling originally, and somebody split those downstairs apartments into 2. So where we're at right now is I've gotten one of the tenants from below out recently. They just moved out the other day. And what we would like to do and propose is to combine those 2 units and just make it one, so it's only a 2-unit dwelling, which is apparently how it's been all these years. And you could even go back on permits and the addressing people, and we talked about this even at the pre-application meeting, that there's always been 3 addresses to this property for many, many years. And unfortunately now everything is being put on us to correct this violation. That's where we're at.
Any questions, board members? Officer Hill, do you know whether what he's suggesting would correct the violation?
So the zoning is R1AA, so technically it has to be brought back to a single-family dwelling, not a multi-family dwelling. And I also confirmed that with Ms. Robinson as well.
Robinson, did you have any input on that? I don't know if you heard what he's suggesting to do is to combine in some fashion units in this property, make it a 2-unit structure. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct, yes.
Would that, if he was to do that, would that put them into compliance?
No, it's a single-family zoning classification. He would have to prove, perhaps he could approach our planning manager and try and prove some kind of nonconformity, legal nonconformity, but that's kind of a tall order since he doesn't have any record of permits on the conversion.
Ask this question. This property has 3 addresses. What does that normally mean when you have a property with 3? I'm trying to figure out how we got to where we're at, because to me it seems like that means 3 residences. Does that not necessarily mean that, I guess?
Logically speaking, I would say yes. I can't speak to why it was addressed with 3 different addresses.
Right, I understand.
It could be back then that addressing didn't really look at zoning. Now they do send, if someone comes in with a business tax receipt and they want a property address that's vacant, they will send it up to planning to make sure that that use can be allowed in that zoning classification before they assign it an address.
Having 3 addresses does not mean that somewhere along the line it was approved to have 3 residents there, I guess is the short end.
I wouldn't think so, but I'd really have to let addressing address that, and they're not present to answer that question.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Robinson, as a point of clarification, didn't you say earlier that the property appraiser's office listed as 3 distinct addresses?
I think Ms. Officer Hills made that statement.
Oh, sorry.
So on property appraiser, it's 1152 West Lakeview. On the house, on the numerical itself, it says 1148. Duke Energy has 3 meters out there. In 2006, they set one up for 1152. The same year, they set one up for 1148. And in 2016, they set up a meter for 1156. And then when this 4th meter was applied, they were asking, do we need to set up another shell address? And that would have been 1146. I don't know. I was just notified when they did the 4th meter by the county.
Interesting. Any questions? So that basically they need to convert this down to a 1 resident structure is where we're at.
Make a motion.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bass has a motion.
Before I made the motion, obviously it's unfortunate that you got in a situation where you thought you bought a multifamily unit, but you didn't. That is but obviously buying things like that, you should check the zoning to see what that is. Obviously, this board has no purview to change any of that. So we're outside those bounds. Our job is to deal with code enforcement singularly. And in that vein, I would make a motion to accept staff's recommendations as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bass, second by Ms. Hames. Everybody understand the motion? Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that's the verdict here is I have to convert it back to a one resident structure.
And can I say anything more, or are we done?
Well, we're done as far as the decision being made.
So what I would like to point out is that this property, again, was built in 1959. We just upgraded electrical there. The old bus fuses that were there.
Getting into the facts is not going to, we made a decision, and I'm sorry, but...
I just want to make one point here, please, is that the reason we can't find any of these old permits and approvals is because all the documents that Seminole County had got burned in a fire. So how can we prove or provide anything if nothing can be brought up?
I'm not sure, but if we...
You're outside the purview of this group.
This house was constructed as definitely as at least a 2-unit dwelling in 1959. Somebody approved that.
I think it was summed up well by Mr. Bass, and it was bought under the zoning that it is right now, and unfortunately, this is where we ended up. So if we were to rely on going back and finding old documents in the courthouse burn up, we just can't do that. So anyway, that's the decision. That's the board's motion that carried, and I do thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next case is case number 20-32 CEB. So it's on page 8. Peggy J. Caverly, 219 Nob Hill Circle, Longwood, Florida, 32779. If you're here for the case, yes, if you could step up to the podium, thank you. Thank you. Ma'am, could you state your name?
Peggy Ware Caverly, or Peggy Jean Caverly.
Thank you. Were you here to be sworn in earlier? Did you hold your hand up? Were you?
Yes, I was.
Thank you.
I was sitting right there.
Very good. Thank you. I didn't see you. Sir, your name?
Walter Judge.
Okay, and your relationship?
I am her neighbor and currently helping her to get through this meeting today.
Very good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, Officer Hill, this is your case.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. For the record, I submitted a copy of the PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2032 CEP Peggy J. Caverly, located at 219 Nob Hill Circle. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3C. The remains are rubble of a structure. My initial inspection was on September 5th, 2019, with notice to respondent on September 12th, 2019, with compliance date of October 25th, 2019, with multiple follow-up inspections, including the most recent by our helicopter alert, which was April 19th. The results of my inspection was the result of the remains and rubble of a structure remains on the subject property. My initial inspection on September 5th, 2019, these are pictures of Ms. Caverly's roof in the backyard. These photos were taken on September 5th, 2019. The left is, at one point, her back door had fallen off, and it was replaced by board and padlock. The right photo is part of the roof. And this photo was taken on the same date. One of the windows is boarded up. On the right is an upstairs window that is broken. These photos were taken on November 4th, 2019 of the roof. And these photos were taken on February 26, 2020. The right is the upstairs window, and the backyard, you can see that the door and the windows are still boarded. These photos were taken on February 26, 2020 of the roof. On the left is from the outside, and then you can see that is the interior on the right. This photo was taken of the front of the house on August 13th, 2020. These photos were taken in the backyard again August 20th, 2020. This photo was taken on the same day. That is an upstairs window that is missing. These photos were taken on August 20th, 2020. These photos were taken by alert on September 23rd, 2020 of the top of the roof. These photos were taken on September 23rd, 2020. These photos were taken on February 20th, 2021. Photos taken the same day. Same day, these are also the window and the roof. And this photo was taken on the day I posted the property for today's hearing on April 12th, 2021. These photos were taken by alert on the 19th. So the suggested recommendation is based on the testimony presented in case 2032 CEB is determined that the respondent, Peggy J. Caverly, is the owner of record located at 219 Nob Hill Circle in Seminole County in possession or control of the property and is in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 as defined in 95.3C. It's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of July 22nd, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must repair or remove the remains or rubble of a structure. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. I just want to state that the family has been trying to help Miss Peggy for years. They've tried to get guardianship, and the judge has denied the guardianship. And they've been trying to help her. A lot of the neighbors have tried to help her too. At one point, they did clear her property in hopes of purchasing it, and then it just went back to the same state. The gentleman here is her neighbor. As of last night, he called me this morning and told me that he's in contract to purchase the house as of last night, 10 o'clock last night. Ms. Hughes informed me that her daughter has called and was quite upset, did not know that the house was being sold. So I'm actually asking for a continuance so that the family, if need be, can talk to Ms. Caverly and discuss this point of sale. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
How long would you request a continuance? For how long?
A month.
Okay. Ms. Caverly or Mr. Judge, either one or both, you've heard the officer's recommendation and where we're at. It's your opportunity to, and the recommendation, of course, is to bring it back next month. So you don't have to get in a lot of details if you don't want. You can. It's up to you. But on the table right now is us to extend this and bring you all back in a month.
First off, I do appreciate you giving that consideration over there. Ms. Caverly and I have been talking for about a year, and I have talked to the code enforcement officer about a year ago. Situations kind of like family and her situation deteriorated, and it just didn't work out. Last night, because of the severity of where we're at right now, I think she kind of realizes what she has to do. We entered into a fair agreement over there. I am a resident right across the street from her, so believe me, I've been seeing this for the longest time. Some of the neighborhood has good intentions, and some of them have larcenous intentions. The purpose of me being here today is to let you know, yes, I am under contract with her. She has some personal effects still in the home over there, and nobody wants to give her consideration to help her move some of the things. She has personal attachment to a lot of these things that maybe some people might think is rubbish. To her, it's very valuable. And talks with her right now to line up storage pods to remove some of the stuff in the home that is her personal effects, and to try to button the home up so it doesn't look bad, clean up the lot and everything like that. Unfortunately, I don't own it yet, and it's in her name over there. It probably will take us 60 to 90 days to work all that through. I'm going to figure out a way somehow that I could do some of the things immediately, as long as I have the family's permission. I think I don't need it, but I don't know. What you just said to me just now, I don't know if there's any resistance over there, but Mrs. Caverly, can you honestly say that we are in agreement?
Absolutely.
Ms. Caverly, I'd like to know, I'm sorry, do you have any objection to us if we table this for 30 days? So you
No,
can speak to
and
your
I
daughter?
would like to say something.
Yes, go ahead. It's your-
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Hear you fine.
Okay. For one thing, I don't know if any of you have had a member of your family that has had multiple strokes. And my husband used to keep that property up in really good shape. And then he had a stroke, and then he had another stroke. And the hospitals don't give their help away. And nursing homes are approximately $300 a day. And what we intended to do, and I went to this organization that I thought helped in situations like this called Rebuild, and they said my daughter had inquired and that they turned me down. And that was about a year ago. And so I've tried to get help, and the only person that cares is my neighbor. But I just did not have what I put my money into my precious husband and hoping that somehow things would turn around, but he died. And I'm just thankful for neighbors who do care and do understand. So I just wanted to, and hopefully none of you go through anything like this.
Yeah. That being said, I'd like to just ask if you're talking about extending this issue for 30 days, if I can get a 60-day request over here, I think we can get it all resolved, because I'd like to try to immediately get this thing cleaned up, and not wait for it and take action. I do have a contract to purchase. I don't know if I could make that happen in time to do all this, but I'm going to make an arrangement with her that I'm going to go ahead and do all the repairs to at least get it to be buttoned up and cleaned up so it's not an eyesore right now. So we do have intentions, but I have to run through some things, like she said, with her, to make things happen. But if it's a 30-day extension that we're going to be back up again, I'm going to be asking at that time for enough time so I can actually be legally allowed to do what I want to do for her.
Mr. Judge, what is the date of closing that you have in your contract?
I could close within 45 days for the title work and everything like that. It might be as long as 60, but I need to get her stuff removed from the house first, and I don't know what it's going to take to get that, but she does have another residence, and I'm going to go ahead and make arrangements as quick as I can. If we have a favorable outcome today, then it'll be starting this afternoon that I'm going to put the wheels in motion. But, so we can have a clean closing, so she can have her personal belongings moved over to her other residence. This is what my intentions are immediately. But if you can give us 60 days, I know I could probably have, if I have to come up, I might not have everything done, but at least I can give you a good report because I will be in control to be able to do it all.
Mr. Bates, did you have a question? No? Any other questions? Have a motion?
I'd like to motion that we do revisit this in 30 days just to check for progress. I don't want to wait 60 days and find out that something fell through.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
How long was it? I didn't.
30 days is the motion. You're going to table this to 30 days is the motion that's on the table. Second by Mr. Wolframe.
Any chance we could make that 60?
There is, I guess, is open for discussion. I probably would not support it myself. I think 60 days, I think the recommendation is very thoughtful by the code enforcement officer, and I think that Ms. Caverly should have the opportunity to talk to her daughter. 60 days, this house is going to be sold. So, and maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what needs to happen. But I think 30 days is reasonable. That's my thought.
Okay.
It's not going to get fixed in 60 days. I can tell you what I saw there.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, I mean, so unless there's some benefit that I'm unaware of in 60 days, and again, I'm one vote here, so.
Well, let me make this statement. My daughter does not live in Florida. She lives 20 miles east of Paducah, Kentucky, in a little town called Mayfield, and where she works for the police department there. So as far as her actually being involved, other than being concerned about her mom, that's the extent of it.
Sure.
Can I ask a question? Ms. Caverly, are you the sole owner of this property?
Do I what?
Are you the sole owner of this property?
Yes.
No one else? No one else?
No, I have put her...
You've not given your power of attorney to someone else either, is that correct?
No, I've put her on as my heir.
Okay. So you're the sole person that can make decisions to
Yes.
sell that house? Thank you. Personally, I'd be glad to go along with the group, but I'm not sure what 30 days gets us, because we come back here, it's not under contract, we're going to extend another 30 days probably, but I think it's a waste of time to do 30 days, but if we're back here in 30 days and they're telling us the same thing they're doing now, what is anybody going to do? Extend it another 30 days, so.
I'm saying within 60 days, it'll not be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get a resolution, either he's going to buy it in 60 days or not. And if he doesn't, then we've got to move
Let
forward.
me put it this way, if I don't buy it, I'm going to fix it up anyway.
Okay, well, that's fine.
If the first, who was the second on this, Mr. Wolframe? If either one of, if you want to change to your 60 days, right now, the motion from Ms. Patton, second by Mr. Wolframe, at 30 days. If either one of you wishes to change that, or we can have a vote on what we got.
In consideration of what he just commented, I think 60 days would be more of a favorable deal to go through.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
Yes.
So he withdrew it. She's the only one that can change her motion.
He withdrew his second.
He withdrew his second.
okay. So,
I can change it to 60. I'm just concerned that we're going to come back in 60 days and nothing will have been done, and we will have wasted 60 instead of 30 days. But that's just my thought. I'll go with the board.
so you're changing it to 60?
I'll change it to 60.
You're second at 60?
I'll second it.
Ms. Hughes, you have some?
60 days puts us at June 21st, and we do not have a meeting in June.
Okay. So then that would,
I think July 22nd would be the next meeting.
I think he'll have something.
The only concern that I have is she has a lot of stuff inside her house. She packs her vehicles with a lot of stuff. My concern is that once they start moving stuff out, she may change her mind and pull it back. She's done that with other issues.
My goal is to get this closed within the next 45 days, and she has no, and she's going to sign something. Believe me, I am not going to have this in my name and not have an agreement where the stuff has to be removed. That's
So-
where I'm going with it.
So then what happens is if she sells it and closes it, the case is gone, and you'd have to start a new case with the new owner.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking to the board.
Oh, okay.
If she sells it before you see her again, this case goes away. And if there are issues, then the case has to be reopened under the new property owner's name. That's the distinction between, well, it could happen in 30, it could happen in 60.
So you can understand the reason why I'm asking for that time period. If there is an issue, then it would be a default in the title. So I need to make sure I have a title without any issues.
We
So-
already have a contract.
And we have a contract.
It's in your hands.
And it was just signed last night, and the attorney will do his best to get it closed as quick as he can.
We could always accept the motion that's on the board. We've got the fine starts on July 22nd. It would encourage them to get their stuff done, and she could have a chance to talk to her daughter. You know, I hate to keep suggesting different changes, but right now we've got I don't know what we got. We had a 60-day and we don't have a meeting, so we've got to do something, I guess.
60 days would give me the time to do what I need to do, so it'd be a non-issue.
What day is the hearing, Ms. Hughes?
The next hearing date is either
20.
May 27th and July 27th.
So you'd actually have a hearing day on the day that this order
Right.
would start to kick in.
Right.
They can always make a request to be heard at that meeting on July 22nd and then give you the update, and you'll know whether you are going to have a fine incurred or continue the date for additional time.
And to do that, we would simply approve what we're looking at right up there.
Yep, you can
And-
approve that.
And if the property's sold, it negates the whole action anyway.
Right. All goes away. Everybody understand? The recommendation on the board is to have the fine start on the 22nd. That's above and beyond the time they're asking for. They could always come back if it's not taken care of or the property's not sold, which basically makes it go away. They come back on that day and ask for, hey, here's where we're at, we really need this, that, or the other, and that would just be approving what we're looking at. Mr. Beth?
I would really like that because it does give an impetus to get this thing closed. So if it doesn't close, if someone backs out of this deal, then the hammer comes down on the 22nd. So I think that's probably, I like this as a much better solution, personally. So
Back to the
you just
withdrawal.
accept it.
Would you consider
Well,
withdrawing?
motion-
Or not?
I'll second it.
Second, what he just said?
Yes, sir.
So you have to withdraw your motion then.
Oh, I'll withdraw that.
Okay.
If you motion it, I'll second it.
I make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation as presented.
On the board, with the July 22nd date being the compliance date. Mr. Wolfram, you withdrew, right? Or just something?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Okay, and then $100 a day fine would kick in on that date. Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, sir.
Second by Ms. Patton. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's what we've done.
So
July-
for me to understand, there's no extension of anything then?
Well, yeah,
not.
you got to July 22nd to get this thing done.
So you understand, Mrs. Caverly?
If she,
Yeah, I do have a question. What ever happened to Seminoles County's seniors' help for things like this?
You don't have it.
I know, but why didn't they continue it? Years ago they did.
I'm not sure the answer to that question, ma'am.
Hey, for the record, the previous guy that started out first, I'm going to help him. I'm going to help him get something done. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm going to do my best with her, but if it doesn't, I tried my best, so it'll be,
You'll get it done.
well, you're going to have to cooperate.
Understand, July 22nd is the date. If it's not
Yep,
done,
well-
you can come back
That's 3 months, though. That's plenty. That's more than you asked for.
What I asked for is to not have an issue for the attorney to be able to do a closing and not have this be an issue.
It's not an
Now,
issue.
it looks like it's an issue, so hopefully
It's not an
gonna-
issue.
No.
It's not a lien place, it's no.
It's not an
lien
issue
place
at all.
on the property.
Okay. I
It
just want to
becomes
make
an
sure.
issue July 22nd if
Okay.
it's not resolved by then.
Okay, good.
And
That's
if you
all I'm
take
asking
possession,
for.
if you take
I just-
possession,
I just need time to do what I got to
if
do.
you take possession sometime after July 22nd, you'll probably be seeing Officer Hill.
I'm not going to look to see.
Okay, good. That would be great. Thank you for coming in. Is there anyone else? Do we have a late case? In which case number, Ms. Hughes?
Three cases. Page 2 is 8116, 2117, and 2118. Dane Dutry. Page 7 and 8 of the agenda.
Thank you. Case number 21-16 CEB, Dwayne Dutry, 156 Manor Avenue, Altamont Springs, Florida, 32714.
And they do need to be started.
Okay. Yes, if you would, but whoever might be testifying, if you could state your name for the record,
Dane J. Dutry.
and if you'd be, raise your right hands, be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
Should we do the three together? Or-
Let's see how it goes,
Okay.
because I'm not sure.
Okay, again, I've stated the case. Officer Hill, this is case number 1 for you to present, please.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2116 CEB. Dane Dutry is the owner, located at 156 Manor Avenue in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3A, which is rubbish, objectionable, unsightly, or unsanitary accumulation of garbage, refuse, rubbish, junk, or debris. My initial inspection was November 1st, 2019, with notice to respondent on November 20th and December 2nd, 2019. The one in December was verbal, and I sent him a last letter on November 16th, 2020. Compliance dates were December 4th and December 8th, 2019, which was verbal, with multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday. The results of my inspection is the violation of rubbish remains on the subject property. This photo was taken on November 1st, 2019, with rubbish in the back of the pickup truck. These photos were taken on November 20th, 2019. And these photos were taken on December 13th, 2019. And these photos were taken on the same date. These photos were taken on March 4th, 2021. These photos were taken on April 12th, 2021. This photo is in my posting for the hearings for today on the 12th of April. These photos were taken from Alert on April 19th, 2021. And between the arrows is an accumulation of rubbish. These photos were taken yesterday. So the suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2116 CEB. It's determined that the respondent, Dane Dutry, is the owner of record located at 156 Manor Avenue in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3A. It's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order to the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of May 23rd, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove all the rubbish and debris from the subject property. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Any questions for Officer Hill?
So now you can make a decision if you'd like to hear all 3 cases at one time or allow him to answer individually.
What other nature are the other 2 violations?
One is abandoned vehicles and one is stagnant water.
Sounds good to me, let's do it all.
Next case, Officer Hill to present. Case number 21-17 CEB, same respondent, same address.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2117 CEB. Respondent is Dane Dutry, located at 156 Manor Avenue in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3E, abandoned vehicle. Any vehicles defined in the section including but not limited to any parts thereof which are usable as a form of transportation due to mechanical or structural insufficiencies unless the vehicle is located within a legally permitted permanent or enclosed structure or legally permitted attached carport. My initial inspection was January 1st, 2019, with notice to respondents on November 20th, 2019, with a verbal notice on December 2nd, and again on December 20th, 2019, and a last letter was sent November 16th, 2020, with compliance dates of December 4th, 2019, and January 5th, 2020, with multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday. The results of my inspection is the violation of abandoned vehicles remain on the subject property. These digital images were taken on November 1st, 2019. This photo was taken on November 20th, 2019. And this photo was taken on December 13th, 2019, same vehicle still sitting there. And this photo was taken by alert on December 16th, 2019, with all the vehicles in the backyard, a lot of vehicles in the backyard. These photos were taken on March 8th, 2021. This photo is of my posting on April 12th, 2021. And these photos were taken yesterday. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2117 CEB is determined that the respondent, Dane Dutry, is the owner located at 156 Manor Avenue in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 as defined in 95.3E. It's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order to the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of May 23rd, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove, repair, or place abandoned vehicles inside a legally permitted permanent enclosed structure or legally permitted permanent carport. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 a day will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill on that case? Moving to the next presentation, case number 20-18 CEB, same respondent, same address, different violation.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2118 CEB, and the respondent is Dane Dutry, located at 156 Manor Avenue in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3F, stagnant pool. My initial inspection was done by alert on December 16, 2019, with notice to respondent on December 20th, 2019, and February 27th, 2020. Compliance dates were January 5th and March 12th, 2020, with follow-up inspections conducted by alert. My posting was done on April 12th, 2021, and alert got footage of the pool on April 19th. The results of the inspection by alert is that the pool remains stagnant. This photo was taken by alert on December 16th, 2019. This photo was taken on February 28th, 2020. This photo was taken on March 8th, 2021. This is the day of my postings on April 12th, 2021. These images were taken on April 19th, 2021 by alert. The suggested recommendation is based on testimony and evidence presented in case 2118 CEB and is determined that the respondent, Dane Dutry, is the owner of record located at 156 Manor Avenue in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3F. It is further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of May 23rd, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove the stagnant water from the pool. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $250 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, Mr. Dutry, this is your opportunity to speak
Yes.
to all three of these violations that are noted. We'll call one rubbish, one abandoned vehicle, one stagnant water. So you have the floor.
Well, one thing I could say is I have been given ample time. That I cannot disagree with. The vehicles on the first case, I didn't know this went back in 2019. Literally every vehicle in those first sets of pictures are gone. The red truck, the silver rusty truck I hated so much, the white Geo Metro, all that stuff is gone. The black truck, that is all gone. I have given a verbal warning several times, and as far as if I got anything in the mail, I think I found out why I haven't been getting nothing in the mail on that, but that's another subject. The pool in the backyard, I had sliced a big X in the center, back part of it, across the bottom, and then we started growing tomatoes in it. But it didn't look like there was, from the aerial view, it looks like it's full of water, but it really isn't. I can take the rest of the structure down. I had rented a commercial piece of property, and that's where most of the stuff is going. There is vehicles in the side yard I plan to take out there, and as far as the low tire on my van, I air it up and it goes down about halfway and it stops. But I actually do drive that vehicle. It's licensed, tagged, insured. The RV is licensed, tagged, and all that. I did take out 2 loads of stuff out right where the U-Haul and my RV is sitting. That was a big mess on the left side. We got rid of the tow truck and the John boat. But the right side, where the gold Lexus is, I haven't got to that spot yet. What my intentions are doing is to get rid of the rest of that stuff there. That's what the U-Haul's there for. I want to load it up and then take it all to the either dump or recycling. The cars that's in the side yard, I do want to take that to the lot. I want to get it out of there because it's not doing any good being there. I probably would have already had this all done way beforehand, but I ended up having to go back to North Carolina and get more infusions for my blood poisoning. I've been back from that, but for some reason I don't have the pep as I normally do. I don't know if it's the heat or what. So I've been doing most of my work at night, and it's kind of hard to do sometimes because I don't want to wake the neighbors. But I am trying to go forward with everything on this. But like I said, I thought the 2019 was closed off. I didn't know it was still going. Well, I know it's not, but I'm just saying, I'm giving my point. I thought it was done. I got rid of that rusty truck. The black truck, the red truck, the stuff that's in the yard, the stuff in the back of the truck, all that stuff I got rid of. The pool, like I said, I drained it and cut on a big X in it. But I don't want to be a problem to anybody on any of this. I'm just trying to get it taken care of as fast as I can.
Any questions for Mr. Dutry?
Do you have any problem with the compliance dates that are shown on these 3? Will you be able to have everything cleaned up by then, do you think?
I thought I was already at the deadline of the compliance date.
No, the recommended compliance date, we haven't decided yet, but the recommendation is May 23rd for all 3 of these violations.
Oh.
They have different penalties.
I understand.
But that's the date for all 3 of those.
No, I have no problem with that. I should have everything done by then. I've been thinned out so thin, and then I had to get sick. And not to give the boo-hoo story, but I do have 2 disabled kids that kind of makes it a little tough. But, no, I mean, I don't disagree with anybody on this. I mean, I'm embarrassed to come home. I look like Sanford and Son. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. And I do want to clean it up. I want to look a little bit more presentable. But it's embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, I do want to get it cleaned up.
And you can do it all by that date?
I should have no problem with that because, like I said, I got the lot to take this stuff to, and it's commercial. So I don't have no worries about, oh, you can't put it there. So all I have to do is just get everything taken over there. And we once had a tow truck, and that died on us, so I have to use a tow dolly for everything.
Any other questions?
I
Mr.
have a
Wolford?
question for the officer.
I'm sorry.
I have a question for the
Yes,
officer.
sir. Go ahead.
Is what he's saying true with the stagnant water?
Well, the photo from Alert shows it, I mean, if, Dorothy, can you go back to?
It looks like it's full water.
It looks like it's full water. It's in his backyard. I've never been in his backyard, but this is what Alert captured just on the 19th, which was what, Monday.
So I get it clear, you yourself personally have not been up there and physically seen?
I have not, correct. I have not seen it. I've had Alert do my flyovers when they're on patrol. But this, and I mean, I'm not a farmer, but it does not look like tomato plants.
It looks like water to me.
No, it does look like water. I'm not going to disagree. I plan to have that removed anyhow, so I'm not leaving that there.
And he has told me in the past that he has made a slit in it, but I think the best suggestion for this is that it probably needs to be taken down totally and removed, because it's going to keep filling up. I mean, we've already had some really rainy days. It's going to continue this way if it doesn't get removed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to get rid of it anyhow, regardless. I do, like I said, I can't handle the heat for some reason. I don't know what it is. But the second main reason it's great to do it at night is because the wasps. I'm highly allergic to wasps. And they like their nesting everywhere. Yellow jackets and the wasps and everything. But yeah, I want to get rid of it too. It's really no need for it.
And if I can address the vehicle issue, Mr. Dutry is correct. The same vehicles are not there, but there's always a different junked vehicle on the property, and that's why we're here today. It may not be the one that was there in my initial inspection, but there's always one out there.
You have anything, Mr. Bass?
I'd like to move that we accept staff recommendation on all 3 of these cases.
Can we do it all together? Okay. Second by Ms. Patton?
Nope, Ms. Haynes.
Ms. Ames? Okay, any other discussion? We have a motion on all 3 of these cases that we are hearing right now to accept staff's recommendation as presented. That would be compliance date of May 23rd for each of them, with a fine on the first one of, that'd be 2118 of $50 a day, a fine on 2117 of $100 a day, and a fine on 2118 of $250 a day. That's the water case.
Just so it's clear on the record, I think you said 2118 for the first one. It's actually 2116.
Oh, I'm sorry.
First one. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Got a quick question.
Hold on, sir.
Sorry.
Is that clear? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sir, do you something real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry. The first case, the very early case, that was for the vehicles, correct?
No.
Debris.
The debris, but you didn't speak a
Oh,
lot
okay,
to
okay,
it. You got to
okay.
clean that stuff out.
All right.
And let me clarify a couple things before you leave. What we've done is giving you that date for everything.
Yeah, vehicles, rubbish, cars on the side of the
When you
pool.
think you're done, you need to get a hold of Officer Hill to check it, to make sure. Our next meeting is 4 days after your date to get it done, so if you don't get it done and you want to wait and come and ask for more time or something, you're $1,600 into a fine.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
Okay. And the only other thing, when it comes to the vehicles, Officer Hill said they keep showing up. If you get them all out of there, the next time it shows up, there's no warnings. You get fined automatically from day one. Just make sure you understand it. You're not going to get the warnings like you got this time. The fine starts right away for any violations of any 3 of these.
But my gold van is fine, right?
Ask Officer Hill.
If it has a flat tire, it's considered inoperable, so your tires need to be inflated.
Oh,
So anytime, so when I come out for reinspection, tires need to be inflated, vehicles need to have all their parts, they need to be intact.
Okay, I understand.
It have to be,
Yeah.
it has to be something that you can drive on the road. So if you can't drive a vehicle with a flat tire on the road. So it's something that you wouldn't be getting a ticket for, or you wouldn't be, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gotta
Okay,
fix it like my
okay.
Lexus. It's got a slow leak in it. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
I think that's all the present respondents. Does anybody need to take a break or roll with it, or keep going?
It's
Okay.
good.
Rock and roll.
Okay. All right, so that'll bring us to the first item on our agenda, item 20-67 CEB, John and Joanne McDevitt, 960 St. Croix Avenue, Apopka, 32703, Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I had submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2067 CEB, John W. and Joanne K. McDevitt, located at 960 St. Croix Avenue in Seminole County. Violation charge of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3, rubble of a structure. My initial inspection was October 18th, 2018, with notice to the respondents on October 22nd, 2018, November 30th, 2018, and a last letter was sent December 19th, 2019, with compliance dates of November 18th, 2018, and January 1st, 2019, with multiple follow-up inspections, including this week. The results of my inspection is the violation of the remains and rubble of a structure remain on the subject property. My initial inspection was done on October 18, 2018. It's hard to see the rubble of a structure. It's small. From the view that I was able to get, I met with a county employee behind their property is a retention pond. So I met the employee, let me in, and from my view, I could only see like a small divot in the roof line. So I asked Alert when they were out on patrol to get me some footage of that. These were taken by Alert on November 27, 2018. You can see that the porch roof has collapsed in on itself. These photos were taken on February 23, 2019. These photos were taken on June 5, 2019. These photos were taken by Alert on August 20, 2019. These photos were taken on December 10, 2019. These photos were taken on February 11, 2021. And these photos were taken on Monday by Alert. The suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2067 CEB is determined that the respondents, John W. and Joanne K. McDevitt, are the owners of record located at 960 St. Croix Avenue in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3C. It's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondents to correct the violation on or before midnight of June 24, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must repair or remove the remains of rubble of a structure. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $100 a day will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill?
This is a general question based on the last 5 cases. We come up with June 24, and we don't have a meeting in June, and we keep having to address that issue to a date where we do have a meeting. So is there some way to standardize that?
It doesn't have anything to do with the meetings, just I'm trying to give them, it's a big project. These are all have been big projects. I'm trying to give them as much time as they can. It doesn't have to be on a meeting date or close to it. If they're not in compliance by midnight of that date, the fine starts running.
Yeah, but there's no opportunity for us to get involved in June. And we only hear about it in July when the fines have started running and they haven't paid the fines.
What's up to you? If you want to give them more time or less time?
I personally would be in favor of giving them more time to coincide with our July meeting date. And the fines can start running whenever you think that's appropriate. But it feels odd to me that we have these dates in a month where we don't meet. And we won't be involved, we can't help you.
If you want to make a motion, there's no respondent
It's not.
here. you can,
You have to think about it, I mean, it's not a matter of us meeting again, it's a matter of they've got a certain amount of time to get things done. If they didn't get it done, then those fines start. We don't need to, that's the point of that, we don't need to meet again to do anything. Either they get it done or they don't. If they don't get it done, then they've got fine problems, and they can come back and ask for us to do something with the fines after they get it fixed, if they want to. But to extend, I mean, that, you can make a
Especially
motion to do
now
anything
with
you
these
want.
cases where nobody's even here arguing about it.
Well, exactly, they don't care enough to show up, so. But either way, it's a matter of how much time they need to get it done for us. We don't need to meet again to reiterate something we've already done, is I think it's the point.
okay.
Clerk had her hand up.
Yes,
I just thought maybe I could clarify for Ms. Haynes, the thing with the June meeting is those motions were to continue a case to the June meeting.
Right.
Which is why I brought up, we don't have a June meeting, so we couldn't continue to that.
Okay.
right, good point.
All right.
Thank you. Motion, anybody?
I make a motion with the recommendation of the officer.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wolfram, second by Mr. Bass, to set the compliance date at June 24th, 2021, or a fine of $100 per day kicks in at that point. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to case number 2 and 3 on our agenda, page 2. The case number 20-69 CEB, Travis L. Thompson, 110 Longleaf Lane, Altamont Springs, Florida 32714, and 20-70 CEB, same respondent, same address. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. This case, I submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This case is 2069 CEB, Travis L. Thompson, located at 110 Longleaf Lane in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3F, which is a stagnant pool. The initial inspection was conducted by Alert while on patrol on December 16, 2019, with notice to respondent on December 20th, 2019, and January 16th, 2020, with compliance dates of January 3rd and January 30th, 2020. Follow-up inspections were conducted by Alert on January 9th, 2020, February 8th, 2020, and today, about an hour ago. The results of the inspection was the violation of stagnant pool remains on the subject property. These images were taken by Alert on December 16, 2019. These photos were taken on January 9th, 2020. These photos were taken on February 8th, 2020. And then the Alert helicopter sent me images to my phone, so I apologize they are not on there. They've been very busy with a call the last couple of days, so they were just able to get out there about an hour ago, and they did text and confirm me the photos, and the pool does remain stagnant. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2069 CEB, it's determined that the respondent, Travis Thompson, is the owner, located at 110 Longleaf Lane in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3F. It is further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of May 23rd, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove the stagnant water from the pool. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $250 a day will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Mr. Bass?
It appears the next case is the same respondent. Is it okay with the group if we hear that as well?
67, 69, 10, 14, 16, 17.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2070 CEB, and the respondent is Travis L. Thompson, located at 110 Longleaf Lane in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3G, which is an unsecured swimming pool. My initial inspection was December 3rd, 2019, with notice to respondent on December 16th, 2019, and January 16th, 2020. Compliance dates were January 1st, 2020, and January 30th, 2020, with follow-up inspections, including yesterday. The results of my inspection is the violation of the unsecured pool remains on the subject property. And these photos were taken on my initial inspection, December 3rd, 2019. The right photo shows that he has a solid wooden fence on the right side, but on the left side, there's just a short little picket fence and no fence. That shows a little bit better. On the left side, those arrows, this photo was taken on January 7th, 2020, it's showing where the picket fence ends. There's a photo taken on February 4th, 2020. Photo was taken on April 21st, yesterday. Suggested recommendation is based on the testimony presented in case 2070 CEB is determined that the respondent, Travis L. Thompson, is the owner of record located at 110 Longleaf Lane in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3G. It's further recommended the Code Enforcement Board issue an order to the respondent to correct the violation on or before midnight of May 23rd, 2021, to secure the pool by completely surrounding it by a fence or barrier at least 48 inches in height above the finished ground level with self-closing, self-latching gates. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $250 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, is there a motion? We have two cases here. We're hearing them together. One, we'll call it the stagnant water, the other one, the unsecured swimming pool. Both of those have the same compliance date. The recommendation is May 23rd or $250 fines for each one for each day thereafter.
I make a motion that we accept staff recommendation on both cases.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hames, second by Ms. Patton, that we accept staff's recommendation on both cases. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to, on the next page, case number 21-03 CEB, Evelyn Barfield, Willie and Joyce Barfield, 2211 Broadway, Sanford, 32771. Officer Bavaro.
Hello, thank you.
The next case is the same people with a similar violation.
It is. Thank you. So, Officer Bavaro, if you can do them together. The next one is 21-04 CEB, same respondents, same address.
Absolutely. Vincent Barrow, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement. For the record, copy of these PowerPoints have been provided to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2103 CEB, Evelyn Barfield, Randall Willie, and Joyce Randall. The property is located at 2211 Broadway Street. Violation charged in this case is the remains and rubble of a structure. My initial inspection was on 11/15/2019, and notice was issued 4 days later on 11/19/2019. Compliance date of 12/4/2019. A CDBG application was submitted or provided to the property owner on or about 12/11/2019. The images you're about to see accurately depict the violations on the dates in which they were taken. This one for one of our deputy sheriffs on 12/14/2019. This was a community cleanup conducted on 10/17/2019, where the deputy had opened what we call a SARA project. The Sheriff's Office partnered with Lowe's to get volunteers and supplies donated in an effort to clean up. Joyce, I believe, is the one who lives at the property, to clean up the property. On this date, they did conduct a cleanup with the volunteers. About an hour into the cleanup, Joyce had returned home, became belligerent, no longer requested services of the Sheriff's Office or the volunteers. She ultimately asked the volunteers to leave the property, acted as if the deputy had never confronted her about this community cleanup, which he had notified her a couple days prior that we'd be coming onto the property with volunteers in an effort to help her. On 11/15/2019, when I was notified of it, I conducted an inspection. And you can see that there's rubbish kind of separating or put into holes in the house in an effort to keep water and vermin out. This is when I made contact on December 11, 2019. I met with Joyce, offered her assistance. She said she would like assistance, but she was also in no rush. So she was mailed one of the applications, and then on scene, she was provided information for different volunteer organizations and churches to get help. I told her to contact me once she had submitted an application. We would be checking back in 30 days. 30 days later came. We did not have any contact from Joyce. On 4/21/20, the violation remains the same. There's cracks in the doors and the edge of the house has fallen in. You can see the eaves here. Again, trash piled up in between the two walls. And again, on 4/1, you can see that she took trash and put it in the holes of the walls of the house to keep vermin and water out. And then on 4/1/2011, or 2021, we posted the property for the notice of hearing for today. And then on 4/20/2021, the violation had remained the same. So the suggested recommendation is based on the evidence, testimony and evidence presented in case number 2003. CEB has determined that the respondent is in possession and control of the property located at 2211 Broadway Street. The owner of record on the property located at 2211 Broadway Street in possession and control and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3C. Request the Code Enforcement Board issue an order for compliance by May 6, 2021. In order to do so, she must repair the structure or remove the structure from the property. If she fails to do so, a fine of $100 a day be imposed. That concludes this presentation.
Thank you. You move on to the next one.
Vincent Barr, San Diego County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement, case 2104 CEB, Evelyn Barfield, Randall Willie, and Joyce Randall. Property is located at 2211 Broadway Street. This violation is our charge is rubbish on the property. The initial inspection was on 11/15/2019, notice issued on 11/19/2019, compliance date of 12/4/2019. Several follow-up inspections, one being the most recent on 4/20/2021, revealed that the violation remained on the property. The images you're about to see accurately depict the violations on the dates in which they were taken. This one on 12/14/2019, showing the rubbish. This again was the community cleanup on 10/17/2019. Additional image on 11/15/2019 showing the rubbish. On 12/11/2019, we made contact with Joyce on property. 4/21/2020 showed that the rubbish remained. On 2/10/2021, the rubbish remains. On 4/1/2021, the rubbish remained on property as well. And then on 4/1/2021, we posted the property for the notice of hearing for today. And then the most recent inspection on 4/20/2021 showed the violation remained. So based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2004 CEB, is determined that the respondent is the owner of record on the property located at 2211 Broadway Street, in possession and control of the property, and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3A. Request the Code Enforcement Board to issue an order for compliance on May 6, 2021. In order to be in compliance, you must remove all the rubbish from the property or a fine of $50 a day be imposed. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Bavaro? Seeing none, is there a motion on these two cases? One is the remains of the rubble of a structure or rubble of a structure. The other one's the rubbish. Both of them are the same. The rubble would be on the trash, the rubbish.
Motion to accept staff's recommendation?
Move the staff recommendations for both cases.
Motion by Ms. Patton, second by Mr. Bates to accept staff's recommendation on both of those. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on both of those cases. Thank you. Next case is 21-05 CEB Tracy W. Dibble, 258 East Hornbeam Drive, Longwood 32779. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement. For the record, I submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This is case 2105 CEB, Tracy W. Dibble, located at 258 East Hornbeam Drive in Seminole County. Violation charge of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3F, stagnant pool. My initial inspection was April 8, 2019, with notice to respondent on April 29th and August 29th, 2019, with the last letter that was sent to her on December 20th, 2019, with compliance dates of May 29th and September 18th, 2019, with multiple follow-up inspections, including Monday by alert. The results of the inspection was the violation of stagnant pool remains on the subject property. This one is kind of hard to see from the vegetation, but this was taken on my initial inspection on April 8, 2019 from a neighboring property. That day, I made contact at the front door. Her son was at home. She was not. She was at work. So I left my business card and my hang tag with her to contact me, what she did. She stated that her pool indeed was stagnant. She needed some time to get some money together to get the pool taken care of. She had told me that the pump was running, and so when I met her at her house on June 19, 2019, it had cleared up some. That's when she admitted she had dumped chemicals into it to shock it, but had not gotten the pump up and running. So she said that when her next paycheck came in, she would get some bids on and prices to get the pool pump fixed. And I requested that she email them to me so I could see that she was making some progress towards getting the pool back to clear state. I never heard back from her. These next images were taken by alert on December 10th, 2019. These photos were taken on March 8th, 2021. These photos were taken on April 19th, 2021. And Officer Bavaro had done an inspection for me as well, and he had met with her, and she said, it's still not fixed, go ahead and do what you need to do for your code enforcement process. So the suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 21-05 CEB. The respondent, Tracy W. Dibble, is the owner of record located at 258 East Hornbeam Drive in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, defined in 95.3F. It's further recommended that the board issue an order for the respondent to comply on or before midnight of May 23rd, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove the stagnant water from the pool. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $250 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill? Seeing none, is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept the officer's recommendation on that.
Motion by Mr. Wolfram, second by Ms. Hames, to accept staff's recommendation with a May 23rd compliance date or $250 per day fine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next case, it's a two-case respondent. First case number is 21-06 CEB Fernando and Argentina J. Palma, 1062 William Street, Altamont Springs, 32701. Second case, same respondent, same address, different violation. Officer Hurd.
Dorothy Hurd, South Region Code Enforcement Officer for the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. For the record, I've submitted copies of my presentation to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This first case is 2106 CEB, Fernando Palma and Argentina J. Palma. Their property address is 1062 Williams Street in Seminole County. The violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B, which is uncultivated vegetation. Initial inspection on this property was March 25th, 2019, with a notice to the respondent on 3/26, compliance date of 4/12, several follow-up inspections, and the last one being this morning, and the property had been cut. But I'm asking the board to issue an order because it took him almost 2 years to get it cut, and they tend to cut it and then it grows, and then cut it and grows. This image was taken by myself on March 25th, 2019. This image was taken by myself on July 22nd. He has a small front yard. There's just a little area, and then there's a little area on the side. These images were taken by myself on April 5th, 2021, of the grass on the side and where I posted the property. This was taken on April 21st, which was yesterday. And this was taken this morning where it had been cut. Based on the testimony and evidence presented by suggested recommendation is that Fernando Palmer and Argentina Palmer, they're the owners of record of the property located 1062 Williams Street, in possession of controlling the property, and was in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3B. I'm asking the board to order that the respondent did correct the violation on or before midnight of April 21st by removing the uncultivated vegetation in excess of 8 inches in height. But if this violation is repeated, order a fine of $50 per day be imposed for each day the violation continues or has been repeated after compliance. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. The compliance date, is that correct by tomorrow? Am I reading that
No,
right?
it's already corrected, but if they get out of
Oh,
compliance.
okay, I'm sorry, yeah, you said that. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then the next case?
Yes,
Same respondent?
Yes, sir. Dorothy Hurd, South Region Code Enforcement Officer for the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. This would be case 2107 CEB, Fernando Palma and Argentina J. Palma. The property address is 1062 Williams Street in Seminole County, Florida. The violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, defined 95.3A, which is rubbish. My initial inspection on this property was March 25th, 2019. Notices to respondent March 26th, 4/16, and 5/13, all of 2019. Compliance date 4/12, 5/3, and 5/31, 2019. Follow-up inspection, several follow-up inspections, the last one being this morning, and the rubbish remains on the property. These photos were taken by myself on March 25th, 2019. This one was taken on July 22nd, 2019. These photos were taken on January 13, 2020 by myself. These images were taken by myself on April 5th, 2021. These photos were taken by myself on April 21st, 2021. And these photos were taken this morning by myself. There's a weightlifting thing. There's some type of cabinet. It looks like sheetrock has fallen down, or it's deteriorated over lawnmowers and stuff. And then there's bins and wood on the porch. I'm not sure. And I have talked to Mr. Palmer back in 2019 and advised him he needed to get this taken care of, and he said he would. He was in the process of redoing the inside of the house. I haven't talked to him since then, nor have I seen him. My suggested recommendation is based on the testimony evidence presented. In this case, Fernando Palma and Argentina Palma, they're the owners of record at property 1062 Williams Street in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3A. I'm asking the board to order the respondents to correct the violation on or before May 7, midnight of May 7, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove the accumulation of rubbish from the property. If the respondent does not comply with this order, a fine of $100 per day be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hurd? Okay, we have two cases here, two violations. One is in compliance. That is the one involving uncultivated vegetation. Simply looking for an order that it was not in compliance. There was a violation. And the second one, there was a May 7th date to comply or a fine of $100 per day. Backing up to the first one again, future violations would be $50 on that one. This one, May 7th, or $100 per day. That's the recommendation. I have a motion, and I can repeat that.
What are the staff recommendations on both cases?
I have a motion on the table for Mr. Bates, second by Ms. Hames, to accept the recommendations on both. First one being on case 21-06 CEB with a compliance date of April 21st or $50 per day fine. That is in compliance at this time. We find that there was a violation, and there was a violation on case number 21-07 CEB with a May 7th compliance date or $100 per day fine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Brings us to, appears to be our last case here of cases to consider. Case number 21-14 CEB, Judd and Jenna L. French, 200 Riverview Drive, Longwood, Florida, 32779. Officer Hill.
Officer Hill, Seminole County Sheriff's Office Code Enforcement. I had submitted a copy of my PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1. This case is 2114 CEB. Respondents are Judd D. and Jenna L. French, located at 200 Riverview Drive in Seminole County. Violation charge is Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3F, stagnant pool. My initial inspection was January 9th, 2020, with notice to respondent on February 5th, 2020. Compliance date was February 19th, 2020. Multiple follow-up inspections, including yesterday. The results of my follow-up inspection is that the stagnant pool remains on the subject property. These images are from my initial inspection on January 9th, 2020. This photo was taken on February 21st, 2020. This photo was taken on September 2nd, 2020. And this photo was taken January 21st, 2021. This photo was taken on March 4th, 2021. This photo was taken the day that I posted the property for this hearing on April 12th, 2021. This photo was taken on the same day, or yesterday, excuse me. So the suggested recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 2114 CEB. It is determined that the respondent, Judd D. and Jenna L. French, are the owners of record located at 200 Riverview Drive in Seminole County, in possession or control of the property, and is in violation of Seminole County Code Chapter 95, Section 95.4, is defined in 95.3F. It's further recommended that the Code Enforcement Board issue an order to correct the violation on or before midnight of May 9th, 2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove the stagnant water from the pool. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $250 a day will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Hill?
Officer, is that a residential pool?
Yes.
Looks like a pond.
Yes, sir.
It's a big pool. Is there a house there, or is it house under construction kind of thing? So the first picture looked like it had a house under construction.
Yes, that's why when I initially got the complaint, the house of I think the initial building permit was to take down interior walls. It used to be a two-story house. You can see they did more than take down the interior walls, leaving the pool exposed, unsecured, and stagnant at the time. When we have a vacant, unsecured pool, we send the county an imminently hazardous condition form, which they go out and abate the property and put up a fence. vents, which they have done, and the pool is secured to code. So which leaves a stagnant pool. I did advise them at the time to, when they did pull their next building permit, to have in there temporary electric so they could have the pool pump running, because the owner did tell me the pool pump worked. When they pulled their next building permit, they did not have that added in. And so it's continued, they have kind of walked away from it. They are selling it as is, and they bought another house elsewhere.
Thank you, interesting.
This is, we got emails from 5 different neighbors on this. Apparently it's in Sweetwater Club, according to the emails here. Interesting. But, yes, apparently according to the emails, the guy walked away from the job a couple years ago, and I guess they're starting it back. That's what the emails say, anyway. Are we ready for a motion on this?
I make a motion that on this 2114, is it? Yeah, 2114, that we go with the recommendation of the officer, the fine of $250 per day from May 9th, 2021.
Second. Motion by Mr. Wolfram, second by Mr. Bass, to accept the officer's recommendation as presented, compliance date of May 9th, or a fine of $250 per day. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, which brings us to cases not heard, withdrawn, or came into compliance beforehand. One question on this last case, I'm sorry, I meant to ask this. We probably won't hear this case, anything about it again, until they come asking to reduce fines. We usually reach out, the board usually reaches out to you all for any opposition. Would you remind at least me that this was a case where you had 5 neighbors send in emails, I think, because sometimes I get lost in that, but if it comes up, I'd appreciate that.
I hope I remember. I'll write myself a note.
Thank you. So it brings us to approval of the minutes of our, if you can remember, and I wasn't here, our February 27th, 2020 meeting. Is there a motion by anyone to approve those?
Move approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes by Mr. Bates, second by Ms. Hames. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next meeting date at this point in time is scheduled for May 27th, 2021. If there's any issues, get with the Clerk Hughes, please. Other business, vote to approve 2021 proposed hearing dates.
If you look at the front of your book, there should have been a piece of paper titled Proposed 2021 CEB Meeting Dates. So they've got May 27th, July 22nd, August 26th, September 23rd, October 28th, and December 2nd. So it's a pretty standard no meeting in June schedule. So you need to approve.
Or November.
Yeah, or November, yeah.
Everybody good with those?
Mr. Peterson and Dennis, terms expired January. Do we not need to address that before?
I got renewed. I was notified.
I was going to say, I'm sure you got renewed, or
We can, I think it's just a clerical thing that we need to update the information on. Yeah, we'll update that on your information sheet.
but it's been addressed.
Yes, Ms. Hughes and I spoke about it yesterday, and that's our understanding that they've both been reappointed.
Okay, great.
Yep, thank you.
The other boards that I served on, because of the pandemic, have just started to waive 2020 and put everything in place for a year out.
Don't we all want to do that? Just waive that whole year. We didn't age either, right? We just kind of stayed the same age. I have a question for the clerk, or for the officer. Tell me a little bit more about Alert.
Alert is one of our helicopters that we use. We don't ask them specifically to go out to take a look at a violation. We just ask them if they're out on patrol for other calls or other services, that if they're in the area, to grab us a photo if they could.
And when you say they work for us, is it part of the sheriff's department?
Correct.
Okay. And is it a manual person taking a photo, or is it a computer on the helicopter?
They have very technical equipment, but they will send us still photos, but they also can send us a video as well.
Okay.
Y'all have access to drones?
We personally don't.
Any
Oh,
other?
that's what it was. We thought that was- I assumed it was a drone.
No, sorry.
I was wondering if it was a person leaning over the helicopter going tick, 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 or if it's a machine that is.
Each agency has a name for their helicopter. Warren County's Chase 1, Chase 2.
We have
theirs is-
Alert 1, Alert 2.
Right.
Okay.
You've got tools that these other folks, code enforcement, don't have. Very blessed.
Yes.
And so are we to have the information. Any other business before we adjourn?
Oh, I'm sorry, so I'll go back and make a motion to accept the meeting dates for both.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I totally took you off.
Gotcha. I was just want to make sure we were being.
Motion by Ms. Hames, second by Mr. Bates to accept the dates for our meetings. for
We
the
did really
coming-
good on Robert's Rule of Order today, by the way. Like, coming back, it was like boom, 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 boom.
All in favor on that motion? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, and we shall adjourn.
I would like to introduce you to our new code enforcement specialist
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
taken over my area, Latavia Banks. She just started with us in October.
Hey, welcome.
So I have moved to the East region, so I have some of Oviedo, Geneva, and Chuliota now. And so she has taken my area here.
Did somebody leave? Anybody leave?
Amanda Drawn transferred into another one of our units.
And you also got a little bit of a promotion, right?
A little.
Tell us about that.
Officer Bavaro has stepped down, and so I have taken over the senior spot for him.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well deserved.
All right, I think I adjourned, if not, we're adjourned. Thanks, Bob. Thank you.